Tell on the track. Hop in the whip and I hit these switches. See that chrome suspension. Look at the car, you know who did it. I don't have to mention. They know it's Alex from Hoppos.
What's up and good evening, guys? How are you? Alex here from Hoppos with another video for you guys. And today we're going to be going over fittings, dumps, hoses, return lines, and fitting configurations, different types of configurations. When I mean different types of configurations, what I'm talking about is setting up a front and back setup, setting up a front back corner setup, and setting up a front back side to side setup, and the different types of configurations that they are. There's a lot of different ways you can plumb things, but the most commonly used fittings and configurations, that's what we're going to be kind of covering today. Before we go any further, make sure you guys hit the like, share, and subscribe button. If you guys don't already subscribe, make sure you guys do that, because yeah, you guys are missing out on a whole bunch of helpful content, a whole bunch of content, behind the scenes stuff, shows, fab, all that good stuff, and all the good custom pumps that you guys always like. So make sure you guys hit that like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff other YouTubers say. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, now that we're back from that little interruption from that rude guy that just popped up on the screen, let me show you guys what we're doing. I want to talk to you guys about standard setups as far as configurations on what you can do on the pumps. So this guy right here would be a single dump, single pressure out, your returns coming from here, and this is your slowdown. So what you're looking at here would be commonly found on a front and back setup. This whole configuration right here would be what you would see for one pump for the front, and then you'd also use the same exact configuration for the back. And that would be set up for a 2-pump, front and back only. So the way this works here is off of this 90, so you have 3/8 MPT here, coming out into a 3/8 female swivel to your check valve to the main dump, and the pressure is actually coming up through here, through the dump, and out through your number 6 hose. Then as it returns back, it hits the check valve, and it cannot go anywhere from there because it's actually checked. So what it does is it takes the easiest route back into this 90, and which would be connected to your return hose, and then this return hose would actually be connected into your slowdown right over here. So this would go into the return side. So a lot of you guys get these confused because a lot of people have seen different ways. So I want to just kind of clarify that for you guys and just go over different ways. Now I'm going to show you pretty much the same exact setup here, but this is going to be set up as same thing, front and back. So act like this one's not here, but we're just going to use this for comparison. This is going to be your 3/8 male MPT, 3/8 female swivel, check valve, hose or T, and then your number 6 pressure out. So this would be your pressure out, your hose, just like this would be your pressure out to your hose. Plugged off here, return, and that's going to go back to same thing. Your return hose here, this is just your 1-footer. And then what you guys can see, the biggest difference here is this one's running through the dump and this one's off to the side. And the reason we do this is for higher flow on a standard setup. So you could do 2 different ways, front and back. This is set up exactly the same, but the only difference is this one, the pressure is running through the dump, so the cartridge is in through the center right here, and your main pressure goes through there, but it does have slight interference. So if you go and step into a bypass setup, so this is a single dump bypass, your pressure still runs through the same thing, but it doesn't have the dump and the cartridge to restrict you. So it's going direct flow out. As the oil returns back in, comes through here, and returns back through your return, which is connected to your return hose. 2 setups right there are normally used on front and back, 2-pump setups, or on like tilt beds, Z-racks, stuff like that. Something that is only going to take 1 single pressure and 1 single dump. So you can run that for your 2 front cylinders. So you run out that pressure and you'd pretty much be teed off in the front, and then you drop to your 2 cylinders. So that is the most standard basic setup configuration there is. Again, that is the same thing as that. Pressure out, return, return. But the biggest difference in this is just the restriction of the cartridge here, which when I say restriction, it's still going to go through it. It's just slightly slower, so it doesn't have that smooth transition from fitting to fitting like this one does here. This one, the dump is sitting offset, so it's bypassed. So hopefully that makes a little sense for you guys to kind of clarify things. Let me show you guys the next setup. The next setup here is what you'd be known, or what's commonly known as, a double dump setup. And this is most commonly used on 2-pump setups. When you see 2 pumps, front, back, side to side, this is the fitting configuration you're going to see per pump. Just remember, everything is per pump. So if you have front, back, side to side 2-pump kit, this is what you guys are going to be looking at times 2 over here. This right here, let's just kind of break this apart so you guys get a better understanding. This is where the main pressure comes out of when the pump and the motor spins. Pressure comes out through here, splits, hits the 2 check valves. And when you guys are putting these check valves, I know I didn't go over it on this one over here, but when you guys are doing this, make sure that the ball side is touching the T. So when I say the ball side, let me show you guys. Under 3/8 check valve right here. See the ball on the inside, that spherical looking thing? That is the side that the pressure is going to hit first. See the C-clip and the restriction? This is going to be on the pressure side. You want the pressure to hit the ball first. You guys do that, because if you guys don't do that, you will have catastrophic failure. And what I mean by that is the pressure will have nowhere to go. So once that pressure goes through that fitting and through the T, hits the check valves, if they're backwards, that pressure is just going to build up in that T until you either blow a seal on your gear, or spin a gear, or spin a shaft, or blow your number 8 pressure O-ring. You could also blow the main shaft seal as well. But what's normally seen is when you see the shaft, it will actually spin it because the torque on it. So make sure you guys don't do that. Make sure you guys are putting the ball to the T side. Check valve, ball side here. And this is pressure out from the block, splits, goes both the ways, ball, and then this is going to be C-clip side. So right here, this is a double dump setup, commonly seen on 2-pump front, back, side setups. And what this does is pressure out, splits, runs through here, pressure runs through here, and this is to your cylinder, and this is to your cylinder. This guy right here is going to be your return side and return side. So let's just say, let's call this left because this is on our left, and let's call this right. And let's call this the front pump. So if this was your front pump right here, this was going to be your front left dump. This would be your front right dump. This is going to be the hose, which is going to be normally like a 15-foot to your front. This is going to be going to your front left cylinder. This pressure is going to be going to your front right cylinder because it's on your right side. And when you hit the dump and trigger, it's actually going to return the pressure through here, and it will go back all the way into the top of the T of your slowdown. So that's where these 2 hoses come into play. These 2 hoses, and it's kind of hard when this stuff isn't tightened, but your 2 return hoses are going to be pretty much hooked up there. And let's just pretend these are staying connected, and they will return back into that hose T, back into the block, and this would be on the return side of the block. You guys are following along on that. We're trying to make this as simple as possible without overcomplicating things. Now let me go over what we first talked about, like a single dump setup, but just a little bit different. So here you got a single dump bypassed, just like what you guys saw over here. Single dump bypassed. Single dump bypassed. Only difference here, and this is the only difference, is big check, bigger fittings coming out to a number 8 hose here, and everything is going to be exactly the same as if you're looking at this. The only difference is, as you can tell, is going to be the fitting size. So you guys can compare those two. I'll actually tip this that way. So you guys can compare the 3/8 check to the 1/2 inch check, and you can see the flow difference through there. Now on the double dump setups, again, you guys could use that in different forms and different ways. You could have a 3-pump setup here, and you could actually run front, back, side to side on a 3-pump setup. But if you're going to run, let's just say that 3-pump setup is going to be for 3-wheeling, then you're going to want to do is individual pumps to the rear, which will have a single dump setup to each rear pump. And on the front pump, you're going to have a double dump setup, like this guy. So you would run this on your front pump. That way you could control your front cylinders individually on the down. And you could run this guy on the front, and your rears would have rear left. And then let's just say that would be your rear right. you'd have two different styles, but using the same dumps, same check valves, same hoses and all that stuff. But the only thing that changes is the plumbing. Now let me go show you guys what a double dump setup looks like on an actual pump. So this is what we were talking about earlier, sitting on that wooden table. This is a double dump setup. This is a standard street pump, number 9, with street motor. And this is going to be your main pressure out like we were talking about. On our blocks, our main pressure out is always next to our logo. Your return side is going to be on the plain side over here. And you can check that also by when you put the gear all on. If you assemble or if you got everything in pieces, you guys could check that. If not, if you guys purchased everything and it was already assembled from us, just know that your pressure side is always going to be closest to the logo. Now that this one's a little bit together, well, actually it's completely together, let's go over how the pressure comes through. So as the motor spins, it spins the key which is inside the block, it spins the gear inside, and then the pressure comes up through here to your 2 check valves, through the dump, through the dump. This would be your pressure out, pressure out. Your pressure cannot return back because the cartridge is closed. Same thing on this side. Your pressure cannot return back because your cartridge is closed. Your check valve is blocking it, and your check valve is blocking it here. So when you hit the switch up and you let go of the switch, your oil is stuck in that line, stuck in that cylinder until you hit the switch down. When you hit the switch down, it actually triggers this magnetic cartridge or the coil, and it'll actually pull the cartridge up, letting the fluid return back in here. It cannot go any further here because you got your check valve, so it returns back to the path of least resistance, which is going to be the return side, down into your block and back into the tank itself. So that's how that works. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Hopefully that clarifies some things for you guys. Again, I didn't want to make this a very complicated video. I didn't really want to go super deep in depth on this. If you guys would like me to do that, just comment down below on something else that you guys like me to cover, talking about it, going over it, and just drop a comment down below so I could see it. And if I know that this common thing that people are struggling with or common thing that people are confused on, then we could touch it and make sure we go over it in a video and make things just completely easier. Because I mean, we could sit here and go back and forth on emails and send you pictures, but I feel like a video just kind of makes things easier. So we're kind of going back to how this whole YouTube channel started and helping out the video, or helping out customers by video. And this video is actually for a customer on an email. So hopefully you guys, you know, understand how this works. I don't remember your name, but hopefully this helps you understand how the fitting configuration works on the single dump and also on the double dumps, even though I know you're not doing it, but it's always nice to have that knowledge. So if you guys liked the video, if you guys just liked any of the content that's on our channel, make sure you guys hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and drop a comment down below, drop a little love in there. Our next show will be out in Tampa, so make sure you guys visit us out there if you guys are nearby or going to that show. We are following the whole 2023 Unity Tour, so we will be out there with Lowrider, and we will have our whole booth set up there. So make sure you guys stop on by, say hi, say what's up, grab some merch, grab some product if you guys need it. But best of all, let's just say what's up to each other and put a face to the Instagram handles that a lot of you guys forget that we haven't met. And you're like, hey, you remember me? I'm like, hey, what's your Instagram name? So make sure you guys do that. And we'll see you guys out in Tampa. If you guys aren't going out to Tampa, we are going to a whole bunch of other shows as well, which I will actually put the tour dates here. All those. We're going to all those shows right there. Hopefully we get to see you guys at one of those shows. If not, you guys are local, stop on by the shop. And again, thank you guys. Alex from Hoppos. If you guys need anything from the website, www.hopposonline.com. And see you guys on the next video.